Follett, illustrated by Mossy Ramsey. Running. It was too dark outside. Usually we got up before sun rose, but I could tell that it was too early for my father to be shaking my arm. Daniel, he whispered. No, I groaned. I had been picking cotton all day. I could still feel my fingers flopping. As I tried to get my father away, he picked me up by the arm and carried me outside. Shh, now, he said, and I fell asleep again. Daddy was the carriage driver for Mr. and Miss Winters, our slavers. My mother had taken care of little Mary Winters, but Mary was grown now, and Mama was gone. I must have muttered in my sleep, because I heard Daddy saying shh again. I woke up and saw dark trees. I heard soft footsteps all around, and I looked all over my shoulders and saw the bent back and shoulders of Amy, another field worker on cotton plantation. She walked with her head down, moving at a very quick pace. Can I get down? I asked my father. Amy whipped her head and around, gave me a cold look. She put her fingers to her paused lips and kept moving. Suddenly, I realized what's going on. We were running. Mama was sold a few years ago, when I was still too young to work in the field. Miss Winter used to send me in the local inn, where I did cleaning. The inn paid me for my work, but I had to take the money right home and give it to Miss Winters. She would count every cent and tell Mama to spank me good if she thought even one penny was missing. Mama would make it look like she was just doing what she was told, but she would just tap me lightly. I could yell and cry and like it really hurt. That seemed to make Miss Winters happy. One night I came home from the inn as usual. It had been a windy day, and $1 had flown out of my hands. Miss Winters noticed the missing money right away. She called in the cook and told her to spank me. Hard. The cook didn't know about Mama's trick, so she spanked me as hard as she could. I yelled and cried for real. After it was over, I asked the cook where Mama had gone. Well, Mistress Mary, about grown now. I suppose they sold your Mama to someone who needed her, she said. I felt like my heart would fall down a deep well and landed on the bottom with a cold splash. Daddy's eyes looked hollow when I got back to our one-room shack. He only said one thing about Mama being sold. Someday we're going to be free and we'll find her. That day of freedom was today. The barn. In, Amy said. She pointed across a field at an old sagging barn, and we went inside. She felt around the floor until she found a trapdoor. She motioned us all into a small space under the floor. Everyone had to lie down in order to fit. Amy closed the doors behind her, and it was silent. Eventually, I leaned toward Daddy. Do we have to stay here all day? He nodded and put his fingers to his lips. Sleep, he said. I didn't think I could sleep. I still feel like I had energy running through all my muscles. Soon we will find Mama, but I kept still. Sunlight began to peek through the boards above us. Feet began to thump all over our heads. I could tell that all of us were scared. No one was sleeping. We heard the other enslaved people talking as they walked. Did they know we were here? I almost wished that I could pick my head through the trapdoor and whispered, "Come with us and be free." But I kept silent, and they kept walking. The gully. The hours last a long time when you're crouched in an uncomfortable position. But finally, night fell. The noise from bed had been silent for some time, but we waited. Finally, Amy pushed open the door, and got on the sweetish fresh air in the world came rolling down into the tiny space. She led us into the woods again, and we all began walking. I was so happy to be out of that cramped space that I began to run. The others started going faster too. We came to a dark road and hopping, skipping, and jumping. Someone in the back even wiggled. We were going to be free. I could feel the cold air from the north pouring down toward me, and I made my legs springy and light. Suddenly I heard sounds and every 1 inch of my skin felt like ice. Help! Someone was coming after us. We all looked to Amy. "Quickly!" she whispered. She was slipping through the trees, and we leaped after her. We rushed down a steep hill until our legs hit swampy water, going deeper and deeper. It was up to my thighs, then my chest. Daddy pulled me up on his shoulder. It looked like we were in trouble. Couldn't swim, but Amy led us towards the opposite shore. There were stumps sticking out of the water there, and if we stood still under the pale moonlight, our head would look like more stumps, especially to someone across the swamp. We heard men and hounds come crashing down the gully. They came to the edge of the swamp where the water kept the dogs following our scent. The dogs howled and roared like they wanted to change across the swamp and attack us. Then I heard the sound of a shotgun loading. The roar of gun kept washing the water and echoed back. It startled me so badly that I made a peep before I could stop it. Enemies as swiftly and silently came across the clothes over my mouth. The sound of another shot blasted out across the water. The man who was trying to scare us to making noise and showing ourselves. After a long time, they turned and led the hounds back up the gully. We still kept still for another half an hour before we dared creep back out the swamp. There was no more running on or laughing when we got back on the road. The river. We passed many days in hidden spaces, in homes, and bonds of people who helped us along the way. We spent many nights walking silently through the wood, cold and hungry. We had little food of our own and had to rely on the people who helped us to give us food. Now came the hard part. We had to cross the Ohio River in order to get to freedom. Amy gathered us in a tight circle. "You're going to have to do something that seems completely wrong," she whispered. "You're going up to a white man and let him put you in chains. But he's going to hate it. It'll look like he captured you. No one will suspect you when he leads you across the bridge." We met the white man, Mr. Avery, just before dawn. Amy wished us luck before she headed south again to find more enslaved people and lead them to freedom. Mr. Avery took most of our clothes and packed them in the trunk. He put us in shackles. Daddy looked scared. I suddenly wondered if this was all a trick from Miss Avery to capture escaped enslaved people. I started to cry. I hated those chains. All I could think about was how Mama's hand and feet would have been in them as they led her away. "We have to trust him," Daddy said, but his voice didn't so sure. Mr. Avery led us through the street. The white people ignored us. The black people glanced quickly at us, then looked away. Mr. Avery led us onto the bridge. I was crying 'cause I was still so afraid that he would turn around and see us again. But then I found my feet touching the soft soil on the Ohio side of the river. Somehow, my tired feet could tell that I was free, even though I was still in the shackles. I felt the weight of them disappear. "We did, Daniel," Daddy said with a shaky voice. "Someday we'll go back for her."
Wow! You. Oh, yeah! You pass. Look at you go! A perfect